everyone, I'm Joe Rodriguez. I am a senior communications major here at UTSA. I've been working with Public Sports Radio for about 2 years now. I host a show called Cup of Joe Radio. I've done interviews for the bar. I've done like video content. One time I ate a burger and I threw up. Kind of an all-time. Have you seen that video? It's kind of an all-time video.
I've heard about it. I haven't
yeah,
seen
kind
it.
of an all-time video. Almost made Preston puke too. That was funny. But yeah, I mean, I worked with them for a while. I contacted them. We hooked up, and I've been doing my show with them for a while. So basically what happened with me and UTSA, or like when I got here, I was in band growing up from like 6th grade. I played the trumpet forever. My dad's a band director. My dad actually went here too. So like coming into college, it was always like, I'm gonna be in college marching band, because that's like the thing I wanted to do. And I came here, I joined SOSA, and I was in love with it from day one. Like the minute I got here, I was in love with that band. And it just kind of grew from there. I made tons of friends, and I became kind of like the unofficial like spirit coordinator for the band. And like when people have questions, they'll come to me or they'll come to my friends, and we've kind of like identified ourselves as like the football, basketball people in the band. And yeah, last year I had the privilege of being one of the assistant drum majors, who's like one of the people who conducts the band. This year I'm back down to being a section leader for the trumpet section. I'm really excited. Like we had our first practice yesterday, our first real practice, and it was just so good to be out there like doing band things again. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, I love SOSA. It's been like the privilege of a lifetime to be in that marching band.
What's your most memorable SOSA game day experience? Is there a game that stands out to you?
There's a couple. Probably like we went to Rice my sophomore year. We like drove down to Houston, and we played them in the Rice Bowl, and we just murdered them, and it was fantastic. And before the game started, I was like, we had a pep band there as we didn't march. Before the game started, like the football team was practicing, like the Rice football team was practicing in front of us, and I was like yelling at them, I was chirping at them, I was like going back and forth, and some of them like they were getting kind of scrappy, and we were going, and like once I get going, the rest of the trumpets get going, then the mellophones jump in, and like a lot of the band was like chirping at them like pretty hard, and one of their trainers comes up and like squirts her water bottle at me and just soaks me, just drenched. She just came and just all up and down me, which was really, really funny moment. But like other than that, I mean you know UTSA football. If you're watching an interview with Taco Joe, you know UTSA football. Not a lot to love in the past couple of years, but like everything's fun. It's always a good time. I'm always like excited to be there. But that Rice game was a fun one, and then playing at A&M was cool. Like I got to see Kyle Field, I got to march on the same field as the Aggie band, which was just like, it's kind of an all-time experience. Like if you get to share the field with them, like you remember that forever. And then also freshman year when we played Texas State. Oh, that was a good one. So we played our Selena show, which is like the Selena hat. We did Bitty Bitty Bom Bom, we did Go on the Floor, we did like a whole show, right? And we did that, and then if you know anything about that game, you know that we dominated from quarter 1 to quarter 4. Like it was never a contest. Josiah Tauefa had a scoop and score. Like fantastic. Like some of the best some of the best football I've ever seen UTSA play was like in Texas State in 2017, and we murdered them. And then after the game, we do a post-game show, and we were playing the fight song in the alma mater, and it was like echoing through the city of San Marcos. That was a cool moment too.
That's a cool experience. Yeah. That sounds so tight. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Bad Birds too. Just can you share like the origins of like how that came to be? You know.
So basically, what happened there was one night, or no, what happened was I saw on Twitter that we beat Texas baseball in Austin, right? And again, if you know anything about me, like I hate the University of Texas. Like those guys are the bane of my existence. So I saw baseball beat them, and I was like, all right. Like UTSA baseball has my respect. They have my admiration. Like I like these guys, and I wasn't going to games yet, but that was like all that was. And like about a week later, I remember clear as day, just clear as day. It was Mardi Gras, so it was like UTSA Rowdy Gras, and we were playing Texas State, same day. I'm pretty sure. And me and Austin Donnelly, who's like the other like Bad Bird, he's on Cup of Joe Radio with me. He's like one of my best friends. He's in the trumpet section with me. We decided to go to that game because we both wanted to get into baseball. We both liked that they beat UT. We hate Texas State, so we were like, all right, let's go to this game. Let's see how it goes. So we go, and we get there, and there's like parents and like the girlfriends of players, and that's it. And it is like dead silent at this game, right? So I look at him, and he looks at me, and I go, hey, pitcher. And the parents and the girlfriends just kind of look at me, and I'm like, hey pitcher, and it's such like to see how far we've come in like heckling baseball games to where it started. Like it's just gotten like it just snowballed way out of control. But it started as just me like screaming and just saying like, hey pitcher, hey you're gonna ball this one, like just doing that over and over again. Well, that happens. And then the next day, I'm at the Ash Wednesday ceremony that we have here on campus, right? And one of the outfielders, he didn't come back to the team this year. He goes, hey man, you were at the game last night, weren't you? And I was like, yeah, me and my buddy were at the game. And he goes, can you come to every game? Like, that was awesome. And I was like, really? I thought it was kind of annoying. He was like, no, bro, the energy that you brought to the dugout was like crazy. So we were like, all right, yeah, cool. So that weekend, me, Austin, and Connor, or like within the following couple weeks, me, Austin, and Connor, we went and we got like just buckets of face paint. And there's pictures of us, and we have just like this crazy face paint on. Austin buys like a new shirt, and we just deck ourselves out in like these crazy outfits, and we go to the baseball games. And we're getting into it, and at this point, like we'd already had a whole basketball season of like actually heckling, because like the Road Runner pep band is like notorious for being like the meanest pep band in CUSA. Like we're jerks because of me. I helped with that process, but like so we'd already had like a whole basketball season, and like if you know anything, like the 2018 year for basketball was awesome, and we were like on top of the world. So we were just taking the basketball gimmicks that we would run and bringing them to baseball games, and we were just like going off. And me and Connor and Austin were just bumping shoulders with each other, going back and forth with each other. And then Noel, who's the guy who wears the big hot sauce bottle, he started coming to games, and he's just this creative, funny maniac. And he just says things, and he entices things, and he pokes and prods at things that you don't think to poke and prod at. So he just brought out a whole nother side of it. And before we knew it, we had like kind of a following, because the Bad Bird like Twitter account hadn't started yet. By this point, I was already doing the show. I was already like with Pup Sports Radio, and I was like doing that every night, or doing that on pretty much every night I was at the bar, and like. We were doing that, and we were going to baseball games on the weekends, and then it happened. We were playing Southern Miss Golden Eagles, and they were live streaming it on our thing, and I was standing right behind the microphone. So like the camera was here, facing the pitcher from the back, and you could see me just dead in center of the camera. I had this stupid I have it in my truck, this stupid cowboy hat on, and it's all crinkled and rumbled up, and I have my vest on, and it's got these like stupid spikes on it. And we are just ripping them to shreds, just tearing them down. Because kind of a pre-origin story of the Bad Birds was me, Austin, and Connor went to the final basketball game of the regular season in 2018, and we got murdered by Southern Miss. So this was kind of like revenge for us, and we're going back and forth at them. And then that night on Twitter, just like all hell broke loose. And every single person who even remotely cares about Southern Miss athletics seemed like they were in my inbox, and they were in my mentions, and they were in Connor's mentions, they were in Austin's mentions, and they were tweeting at Dr. Campos being like, you should ban these guys from games, they're classless, they're rude, they have no class, blah, blah, blah. So from there, we just kind of adopted the mentality of, hey, we're gonna be jerks to everyone who comes in.
Yeah.
Like, you may be a better baseball team, you may have a richer school, you may have a prouder history, but like, I don't care who you are, when you come into San Antonio, like, you're gonna have a hell of a time because of me, because of Connor, because of Austin. And that's just kind of how it started, and then one thing led to another, and then like, we had like 18 people at games, like a student section at baseball games, which like doesn't happen at UTSA. Or it doesn't happen at this point at UTSA anymore. So one time we had like a really, really big student section thing for baseball games, but like, we were doing that, and the Twitter account was just getting into it with anyone and everyone who would come our way. Like, if you said one thing about UTSA that we didn't like, we were down your throat, and those were like the glory days of the Bad Bird Twitter account, where like we didn't have the connections that we have now to like, we can't say certain things that we used to be able to say, and like we can't do certain things that we used to be able to do. But even then, like we still get into it constantly. You know what I mean? It's like a week doesn't go by that there's not another Twitter war on UTSA. But we were just, and like we were jerks. We were mean, we were hateful, we were spiteful, but at the same time, we never crossed the line. You know what I mean? We would never use profanity because like kids would be at the games. We would never make like sex jokes. We would never make like race or gay jokes or anything like that. We steered clear of all of that, And that's what kept us in the good. You know what I mean? We made fun of like your hair color, and we made fun of your logo, and we made fun of your uniform, and we made fun of like your talent level, and you'd throw a ball, and we'd scream ball over and over like a bunch of seagulls, and you'd strike out, or you'd throw it in the dirt, and we just let you have it from first pitch to final pitch. Like, it's just relentlessness, but like also nothing's too serious. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what's been like the blessing of all of it. And like I said, it started off with me and Austin going to one baseball game. To the end of the season this year, we had at that point we'd already taken 2 road trips during the season, which was to San Marcos for Texas State and to Austin for UT, and we lost both of those. But like one of the last times we played here at the Bird Bath, we had like 15 to 25 people bad birding, and it was like we were standing up, we were jumping up and down. Like they asked us to move out of the way because the cameras like couldn't film the game. Like crazy stuff. And we'll yell at the press box and say, "Hey, play this song," and they'll play the song, and we'll sing and dance and scream, and we'll run up and down the bleachers, and the other team just hates it. We've gotten threatened twice now. One guy almost pulled a gun on us.
Holy.
Which is like just crazy stuff has happened.
Oh my god.
It's just and it's like we've always had like the backing of the university, and the university's always said, "Hey, as long as you don't like cross the line that we don't want you to cross, you're fine." And UTSA PD's been great about it, and like they're always like, "Hey man, like we got your back, like it's fine." Like, okay, cool. So just like do your thing. We know you're not gonna do any. We know you're not gonna cross the line,
right.
So you're fine with us. And Coach Marshall last year loved us, and then we were blessed when Coach Hallmark came in. Dr. Campos like told me personally, she was like, when I was trying to get Coach Hallmark to come here, I told them about you because we played UIW last year, and he like saw us, and it was like they used us as like a pitch to get him here.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And then from baseball, we started going to softball games. The thing about softball games is that they have like softball parents are crazy. Because my mom was a softball coach, so I know everything about softball parents. They're crazy and they're loud on their own. They don't need us there. But going to softball games is a blast. And then we started going to soccer games, and then the soccer coach told us, they were like, "Hey, there's like no rules here." Because with baseball, like you can't bring noisemakers and you can't like do stuff. At soccer games, you can bring drums, and you can bring instruments, and you can bring banners and flags, and this whole big thing. So we're out there. We have like a 15-piece jazz ensemble. Like we had a trombone one time. We have these big like the Home Depot buckets, and we're banging on the Home Depot buckets the whole game, and we're screaming and we're jumping and we're yelling. One time it was, I forgot what weekend it was, but we were at a soccer game, and this girl. We were just ridiculing them because we sit right behind the opposing bench, right? Also, like right next to their parents, right next to the opposing bench, and we were just digging into this girl. And we won last second goal, and they're coming back, and we're like, "Oh man, sorry, see you next time." Like just kind of being jerks at the end of a game. So we're walking away to go sing the alma mater in front of our team, and she throws the ball at Josh, one of the new guys' heads, and she misses him by a mile, just nails me in the back of the head. Like I had a concussion, like I had a headache for like 2 days.
Holy
like
crap.
It was like she like nailed me in the back of the head.
I didn't realize it was that. I remember that game.
Yeah, like looking back on it, I really should have kept the ball.
Yeah.
Because like she was like, "Give me," and then like another girl was like, "Give me our ball back." I was like, "But she gave it to me," and she was like, "Give me the ball back," and I was like, "All right, fine, yeah, whatever."
Jeez.
That was like another all-timer. And it's just like countless instances like that. And then there was going to Biloxi, but like Pub Sports Radio fans like know all about that one. Like we've kind of murdered that story in the ground. It's just probably one of the best decisions I made in college was going to that Texas State game with Austin. Like it has just led to like this unprecedented amount of like notoriety and just like crazy things that like me and my friends have said and done, and jokes and laughter, and just being like the Bad Birds are probably one of the coolest things I've ever done.
Awesome.
I could talk about them for hours, as you can tell.
That's perfect. No, that was a lot like of really cool stories.
Yeah.
I think people will be excited to hear a lot about that. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about football too. I know the football season is kind of, it feels like it's still like up in the air thing. Like
I think it's going to happen
week to week.
Yeah.
You think it's still going to happen?
I think there was a while where I wasn't sure. Big 12 or Big 10 and Pac-12 canceled, but then everyone just kind of said, "Okay, whatever, we're going to do it anyways." And like right now, it feels like it's going to happen. Like right now, it feels like the only thing that's going to stop it is like crazy outbreaks, which like might happen because I mean you've seen the stuff at Bama and stuff like that. But like I don't see CUSA pausing play. Like as much as I kind of want them to, because it's like
I was gonna ask you, So like
My opinion on it is this. I trust UTSA. I trust Coach Traylor. I trust his coaching staff. I trust our players. I don't trust Southern Miss. I don't know Southern Miss. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know UNT. I don't know Rice. I don't know BYU. Does that make sense?
Makes
like,
sense.
I trust our guys. Yeah, I know
It's
our
what
guys.
you know, and you're in control
Like,
of that.
I've talked to Coach Traylor. I know how much he cares about the men that play for him. I know how much he cares about this program. And I know how much he wants to do that. But, like, you look at baseball players who are under $1 million contracts to do certain things, and even they can't do it right. What's to keep the freshmen who are, like, the new guys at Bama from doing it right? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't track. You know what I mean? And like I said, like, I trust our people. I have nothing but utmost confidence in our people that we're going to do the right thing. But football is a contact sport. You're closer than what we are right now the entire game with people. And it's like, it's iffy, but I'm a meatball American, and it's like, if football's going to be on TV, I'm going to watch it. You know what I mean? If football's going to be in person, like, I'm going to go to the games, because, like, I'm just not going to not. You know what I mean? So I think CUSA is going to jump on this very weird advantage that we might have with being one of the smaller conferences and not being under as much, like, public scrutiny.
Mm-hmm.
As, like, we're gonna get a lot of TV time, and we're gonna, like, CUSA is opening up the first, like,
I saw that.
CUSA is playing, like, opening day primetime football.
Yeah,
which, like,
that's big.
Doesn't happen.
It's
you know what I mean?
huge.
And it's like, yeah, UTSA is not playing it, but it's like Marshall and UAB and Southern Miss, and it's like,
yeah.
these are schools that, like, are
regional,
the same
like regional markets. Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, exactly. And it's like, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna be able to watch people that my team's gonna play on ESPN, not ESPN Plus, not ESPN3,
like this time,
not ESPN Deportes, like ESPN, like the real deal. Like, this is gonna be College Game Days covering this game, which is crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like, that just it's wild. And I'm actually really excited about it. And I think that this is going to be a big year for G5s, which is, like, the kind of football I like. I always make this joke that if you're going to be a CUSA football fan, you have to like bad football. It's like, no matter what happens, like, the football play, I mean, you're not going to be watching Texas, you're watching UTSA. It's going to be a different thing. But I'm excited to see, like, G5 football be, like, not the main characters, but, like, there's going to be CUSA in the top 25. You know what I mean? Like La Tech and FAU are going to be in the top 25 by the end of the year, and I have no doubt about that. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. Like, that's just, like, not a thing that happens. Yeah, they get some votes in mid-November, but, like, they're going to be in the AP poll as, like, number 25, Louisiana Tech, which is crazy. It's crazy. It's super exciting because, like, we play them, and the amount of, like, notoriety the conference is going to get from this year is going to be awesome. And it's like, I kind of hate CUSA, but I also love to hate CUSA. I have this very complicated relationship with them. But yeah.
So this season, I'm sure you've seen, like, the new schedule that we have. I was going to see if you wanted to go through some games, maybe do some pick-em, try and predict.
So, I talked to Jamar about it. Me and Jamar kind of are the people who do the preseason game stuff for everyone. But
okay.
we did our picks back in March when, like, nothing else was happening, before football season was going to be thrown on its heels. But right now, I mean, BYU is kind of like a legendary football team. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, Steve Young, like they're kind of like a they're not like one of the greats, but they're also, like, not one of the greats. And I think if we can hang with BYU, we're in a good spot. You know what I mean? If we can hang with BYU, we're in a good spot. But nothing matters if we don't beat Texas State. Texas State,
right
opening weekend, first game of the year. They'll already have a game under their belt. They already have some plays and, like, real game experience under their belt.
They'll have a lost SMU.
I mean, they'll have a lost SMU, yeah, but, like, still, like, those plays and those minutes count that we won't have against yet. But if we can beat Texas State, I think all is going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, if as long as we just hang another one on Texas State, that's my biggest thing. And I think we will. I've talked to players and I've talked to other fans, and they, like, the mood around UTSA football is different than it ever has been in my time here. I've been here this has been my 4th year being, like, in the depth of it with everyone. It's just a whole new thing. Like, Coach Traylor brings something that we didn't used to have with Coach Wilson, and it's just that, like, football guy thing. Like, it's the Coach O, Coach Harbaugh kind of thing. How it's like all they think about is football, and it's, like, the best kind of thing for
People buy into that, yeah.
And you buy into it, and he has the triangle of toughness and the pound the fist and all that stuff, and it's like, it just gets you in the mood with the right things. You know what I mean? Like I was saying today, like, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, I am all in on this. I am all in on UTSA football, and I'm like this every year. Like, and you can ask Jose. Like, I am the chronicle every year, I think this is the one, but like, for once, there's actually a reason to have hope. Like, it's new blood. He's from Texas. He gets how we feel about this game. He appeals to parents. He appeals to recruits. He appeals to fans. Like, he's just the kind of guy that's gonna get things the way they should be. He's the coach that we should have had for the past, I don't know, 5 years, however long Wilson was here. He's the coach we should have had, and I have a lot of faith in him. And like I said on when we first hired him, I don't think anything more than 5 wins is like expected. You know what I mean? Like, let's win 5 games. Let's be competitive. Let's score touchdowns. Let's catch balls. Let's make runs. Let's call the right plays. You know what I mean? Which is such like a baseline thing. Like, I feel like a Browns fan at times, or like an old Browns fan, like a Bengals fan. How it's like, I don't care about winning. I care about just competent football and competent play calling. Because I mean, maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. It seemed like every play the past 3 years has been that stupid UTSA student union left, where they just swing the ball around the side and then run it up the back, and it gets stopped every frickin' time. Because that's like the only play Coach Wilson knew how to call. But with Coach Traylor, there's like hope for a future, and there's like a passing game, and there's a stable of running backs, and there's receivers, and there's defense, and there's all this stuff that like there is to be hopeful for, because he's a competent football coach. And it's like I said, like I don't think, like I said, like no more than, if anything more than 5 wins is crazy good, and we have so much more expected than I think we do. But like 4 to 5 wins is a good year. That's a great year. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Texas State has to be one of them, because we can't lose.
That's a signature win right there. But yeah, I think I see 5 wins on that schedule.
But yeah, 5 wins is like totally possible, and it's like that would be a very good way to go out. I mean, do I want to go to a bowl game? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I would love to go to a bowl game, but who knows how bowls are going to work this year? How that's going to work?
Very true.
Whatever. Would I love an undefeated season and a CUSA championship run? What roadrunner in their right mind wouldn't want that?
Of course.
But like, what I expect, like a good season, a winning season, a successful year, is 5 wins. I'm putting the mark on that one.
Love that. Tell me a little bit about a Cup of Joe and what we can expect when that comes back.
Okay, so I'm actually really excited. I just texted the guys today. We are coming back next week, starting Tuesday, and it'll be kind of a different format than what it usually is. So it'll be a show in 2 halves, like always. The first half will be me, Jamar, Brandon, Austin, Joed, whoever's in the room for the day, will be us just talking about stuff, and we'll do it like we've done in the past. How it's the first show of the week is talking about the weekend before, and the second show of the week is talking about the next weekend. So it's like, say we just played Texas State, or say we just played Texas State, and the next weekend we're playing Memphis, right? So the first show of the week will be us talking about Texas State. And then the second half of that episode will be me talking to a UTSA person. That could be Coach Henson, that could be Coach Traylor, that could be Dr. Campos, that could be Ron Ellis, that could be people in charge of marketing, that could be people in charge of SAC, that could be a student athlete, that could be whatever. So the first show of the week is going to be our UTSA interview. The second show of the week is kind of me like flexing, and it's going to be, so the first half of the show will be us talking about the next week and whatever's happened in sports that week. And the second half of that episode will be me interviewing someone I've met along my trip, along my journey at UTSA. It's kind of like my weird senior project thing. So Texas State and Memphis are actually the only 2 I don't have anyone for yet, but Texas State's not gonna be a problem. Mm-hmm. So like the ones I'm thinking of is like, I have a friend at La Tech, and so the week we play La Tech, I'm gonna talk to him, and I'm gonna interview him about his time at La Tech and like memories he's had in band and stuff like that. And I know I've talked to the guys who run the Southern Miss to the Top blog and podcast. It's the Southern Miss equivalent of like what UTSA Rivals is. Mm-hmm. And I've talked to them before, and they said they'd be on the show. So I'm going to talk to them for Southern Miss Week. And for what would have been Old Dominion Week, I'm going to do 2 of them. I'm going to try to do someone from Army, which I actually know the long snapper from Army.
Oh, cool.
And I have someone from Old Dominion who I'm going to talk to as well. So it's really cool. It'll be a different feel than what it usually is, but it'll still be the same guys. Brandon will still give his takes. Jamar will still be smarter than all of us. Joed and I will still be argumentative. Austin probably still won't talk as much. And it's just gonna, like I texted the guys today, and we were almost all in tears. Like we're back. Like we're coming back.
We're back.
Because for the past 6 months, and this is kind of my fault, but we kind of just stopped because like the world stopped. Exactly. And it never really felt like the right time with like everything that was going, with just like the endlessness and the constantness of like the hell that this year has been, it never really felt like the right time to come back. But UTSA is playing football again,
so we're back.
So we have to talk about it. You know what I mean? And it's like there's quarterback controversy on the horizon, and there's UTSA football games to talk about, and like basketball's been back for a while. You know what I mean? But A Cup of Joe Radio has always been first and foremost about UTSA football. Like, that's what the show is. UTSA football, UTSA basketball, and then the Cowboys, and then the Spurs, and then the NBA, and then the NFL. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like, the show started as me talking about UTSA football, and like, it's back, so we have to come back too. And I'm really excited for it. I think it's gonna be fun. I hope we get the listeners in, because like for a while there we had great listeners. I hope I didn't lose y'all over the past couple months, but I'm excited to come back, and I'll be doing it if no one listens.
That's all the questions that I have for you.
Okay,
but
cool.
I wanted to lend the floor to you. If there's anything else you wanted to include, any messages, up to you.
Like I said, just listen to Cup of Joe Radio. You can follow us on Twitter at A Cup of Joe Radio, or it's A Cup of Joe _PSR for Pub Sports Radio. You can follow me on Twitter at Taco Joe _. Like I said, we'll be back in full swing of things. Jamar and me will be writing blogs probably. I actually have some in the works right now that I've been working on. And yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to be back in some semblance of normalcy. You know what I mean? Some remote semblance of normalcy is nice. If you're doing things, if you're going to class, if you're going to work, please wear your mask. Like, I get that it's hard to not see your friends, and I get that it's hard to not go on dates and not go to bars and not go to clubs and not go to parties. But if we can just hold on for a couple more months, I think maybe, just maybe, God will shed his light on us, and we'll get a chance to get out of this damn virus before we all go too crazy. So just wear your mask, stay home as much as you can, and yeah, go Runners.